Not too much remains in the Classic IndyCar Series season. Only 2 road courses and 2 oval races remain, with 4 total race days left for the 2024 campaign. And we're getting set to kick off racing action for the second to last road course race of the season. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Edifice Grand Prix of Road America and round number 11. My name is Nolan Ramble alongside Ryan Walker. We are bringing you all of racing action from start to finish on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Ryan, 51 laps around what is frankly a phenomenal racetrack and one of my favorites on the service. Long straights, hard braking zones, everything you need to throw up a thrilling race.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite tracks when it comes to IndyCar racing, and yeah, I'm expecting a good race today around this awesome track, but it can be a bit of a tricky track as well to try and make moves around. But yeah, looking forward to it, and I would say your best opportunities around this track is probably going to be down that home straight, the Road America straight, heading down to turn 1, and then basically the run heading down to Moraine Sweep into turn 5. And then after that, your best opportunity is probably through the kink, heading down to Canada Corner, and if you can get a run on someone, moves can be made. But yeah, I think this race is going to be about just patience and timing your moves.
We'll take a look at the official point standings entering racing action on this Sunday afternoon. Cameron Dance continues to hold the lead, but it's a tight points battle between him and Ethan Agan. Only 11 points separate the top 2 right now. And Jan Hoffman still in the title fight, but slipping back in the championship. It's right now about a 3-horse race, but Jan Hoffman has got to make something up quickly in these next couple of weeks, unless he wants to find himself out of the championship. ROX locking out 5th, 6th, and 7th as well, as they're also tight within just 16 points of each other for the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's getting to that point of the championship. Basically, like you say, we've got not that many races left, so if you're in that championship battle, you've pretty much got to try and basically up your game and try and get as many points as possible. But Cameron Dance, you know how quick he can be in this car, and I think he's going to be a difficult man to beat.
Going to be a difficult man to beat indeed, but don't discount Jan Hoffman. I mean, he's been putting together some good performances over the last little while, so he's got some good opportunities to get some good times in as well over these next little while. Again, 51 laps ahead of us, 18 laps estimated for the fuel windows. So 2-stop race then will be a guarantee this afternoon, Ryan. And drivers should be good to make it to the end of this race on just those 2 stops. Pretty safe without needing a third.
Yeah, basically the race length, 51 laps, is about it's probably pretty much a 2-stop race. So yeah, we were discussing that basically 2 stops is the way to go. And I think if you're trying to fuel save and trying to just do it on 1 stop, I think you're just going to lose too much time. So 2 stops is the way to go around this track.
Going to be a fun afternoon this afternoon, as warm-up is currently underway with just over a minute left in this one. Right away here, Ryan, it's one of the longest road course races we'll have on the championship. Does that impact drivers and their ability to maintain focus throughout the next 51 laps or 2 hours, whichever comes first?
I think around this track anyway, from my experience, it is difficult to keep your focus because there's pretty much you're on a straight most of the time, so your concentration might go a bit off or a bit hayward. So basically, just trying to keep your focus up for the whole of the 51 laps is going to be difficult. And I think if you're in a battle, but I think that's the only way your focus is going to be kept alive.
It's going to be a hard-fought race for everybody this afternoon. There's going to be so much in the way of racing action to talk about this afternoon. It's, of course, a phenomenal track for racing, but it's also a phenomenal racetrack that we're going to 2 weeks from now with the Fuji Speedway. So the Fuji Speedway about to take hold as well over this racetrack. I've never seen an IndyCar race at Fuji, and that is bound to be an absolutely phenomenal one. Today, though, we are imitating the Grand Prix of Road America from September 24th, 2006 for the CCWS Series. So with all of that said and done, it's about high time that we take a rundown of what your starting grid is going to look like as we'll get set to duke it out 51 laps about to get underway from Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. So let's take a run down then through your starting grid and show you who's going to be starting where for the 18-car field on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Thomas Musaden starts his race from pole with a 143.498 alongside Orbit Motorsports driver Cameron Dance. Ethan Agan, points runner-up right now, starts in the number 3 spot just behind the points leader alongside Jamie Wilson on row number 2. VGO starts his race with the number 5 spot alongside Jan Hoffman for Vortex Sim Racing. The Frenchman, Lucas Laville, starts in 7th with Logan Simmons out of the Mid-South. In 8th, from California, it's Johnny Garrett in 9th, and Fran Joseph Stoom here, Ryan, rounding out the top 10.
Yep, and it started in 11th. You've got the series runner or organizer, Robert Grosser in 11th, with Andrew Aitken in 12th, and then Randy Shoemake in 13th with Jack Turner in 14th, and then Rob Bernical in 15th with Cesare Manzato in 16th, and then Marcel Stanley and Rafael Rodriguez round out the grid in 17th and 18th as we're on the formation lap known and heading into Canada Corner.
Not a lot of time left where we get this race underway, and it's going to be a wild one this afternoon. We are happy, of course, that you're joining us for all of racing action on both ESTV and Green Flag TV on this Sunday afternoon. Mustonen leads the way into the final corner. We'll work our way to the front straight away. The iRacing safety car pulls into pit road. From Wisconsin in Road America, time to get the party started. It's go, go, go from Elkhart Lake. A good getaway from Mustonen as he already looks to cover off the outside line. Cameron Dance sweeping wide into turn number 1, while just behind Ethan Agan, Jamie Wilson, and more slicing and dicing as they cut through turn number 1 for the first time this afternoon. Single file down the hill into turn 2. Mustonen with a good getaway while Jack Turner is already into pit road before he's even taken the green flag.
Yeah, it looks like I was watching Turner. It looks like he just got caught up towards the back of the field. But yeah, this has been up at the front. It's been a relatively clean start as they head down to turn 5 by the looks of it, heading into turn 5 it is, and then basically it looks like Mustonen has had a great start, like you say, and he's kept it clean. And Cameron Dance lost the position at the start, but I think Dance, on the other hand, if I'm him, you have to think of the championship and not get involved in any like risky scraps.
Dance sporting some new colors this afternoon, running the more of a turquoise color as opposed to the purple, dark purple and gold color that we've been seeing that number 6 car running all season long. Mustonen out of the carousel, working our way down into the kink. One of the fastest corners, the fastest corner on the circuit, one of the most treacherous as well. You go offline here, you are guaranteed to be in for a bad time. Looking for third is going to be Jamie Wilson, trying for the inside into turn number 12. Not going to happen, while behind the 05 Hoffman punches his way past Logan Simmons.
Yeah, Jamie Wilson tried to make a move into Canada corner there, and he couldn't make it stick. So, yeah, some drivers trying to make moves already. Obviously, with it being a 51-lap race, and obviously you want that track position before the first round of pit stops, what should commence on round about lap 18, I believe. So, you never know. Excuse me, you never know. Some drivers might just try and set one behind, and if you can't get by, do a bit of fuel saving.
Down the around the outside, sorry, for VJL, picking off Lucas Laville down in the turn number 1. While behind, you're going to see Rafael Rodriguez take it to the inside of Randy Shoemake and make it up another spot. So with that first lap going by completely clean, let's take a look at what happened to Jack Turner here. Coming around, this is coming to the pace lap and just got stacked up. He got run into the back of it, then punted hard into the wall. And with no fast repairs, his race is over before it even begins.
And that's the problem with being on a formation lap when the grid's been so close together on the formation lap as well. You get a bit of a stack up, and unfortunately Turner got punted from behind, and just not through no fault of his own. It was just he was an unfortunate victim. But as well, look back to the live action going on at the moment. The number two car of Laville currently in front of Simmons as well as they come round the carousel.
under threat as we work our way through the carousel for the second time this afternoon. Battle for the lead. Still within half a second, just behind the battle for third. Picking up as well. Right on board with Jamie Wilson as he thought about having a look down the inside and now cutting back to Logan Simmons. Does he look to go back down the inside of the Vortex Sim Racing driver? He thought about it. Decided against it though. So Logan Simmons stays in the number 8 spot for the time being. We work our way through the final corner on the racetrack and back to the pit straight.
Yep, what was Simmons runs a little bit wide there on the exit of the final corner. He's just caught a bit of the gravel, and luckily he didn't spin it around because that gravel on the outside can be vicious. As I say that, it looks like Simmons might be making a move into turn 1.
That's VJO making the move on.
Oh, VJO, sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, VJO making the move on Jan Hoffman up the road. Diving back down for turn 1, or turn 3, sorry. Always feels weird calling that turn 3 when it so obviously is turn 2. Same with calling the corner coming up here, turn 5. I have a question for you, Ryan. Why is that little kink there called 3A, but this one here is called 4? I don't get it.
Honestly, I have no idea. I was thinking the same thing as you, but I have no idea. I guess it's just an American track thing, I guess.
I mean, Virginia International Raceway's grand layout has turns 13A, 13B, 13C, 13D, so it's not the worst it could be. Sonoma cuts straight from turn 4 to turn 7, and then ignores half the S's in the final sectors being turned, so who knows? Maybe it is just an American thing, but we got a lot of cars still in some fierce battle packs throughout this field. The fight for 11th is looking tight between two of the Vortex Sim Racing teammates and one of the Aero X drivers.
And as they head down to Canada corner, this is where, like I was saying at the start of the broadcast, if you get a run on someone, you can make a move, and it looks like someone in the background there was trying to make moves there, but not close enough. As the two Vortex Sim Racing cars, they head up through the left-hander and up into the final corner, and then they just looking throughout the field. It looks like most of the field's pretty much settled where they are at the moment, but you never know. You might see some moves going on. Go on again, as it looks like we may have a move about to happen heading down to turn 1.
Andrew Aitken, can he get close enough? I don't think he will because of the slipstream that Grocer's got from Stanley up the road, and he will not, so they'll have to wait to try that again another time. Battles on for 7th as well. LaVille, Simmons, and Johnny Garrett all in a big line as they work their way under the infamous cheese bridge. Round to turn 5, one of the hardest braking zones on the racetrack, and frankly a surprisingly difficult turn because of that sharp decline in altitude for the braking zone.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I find it's one of the most difficult corners to pick your braking point because you're just going so quick, and then obviously as soon as you start braking, you're going downhill. So it can be easy to overshoot your entry, but at the moment everyone's being pretty much nice and clean at the moment as we look at Laval, Simmons and Garrett at the moment coming through the carousel, and if Simmons can get a good run here and through the kink, he could try and make a move down to Canada corner as we ride on board with him through the kink, and yes, it looks like he's got a good run, but I don't think he's going to be close enough.
Well, don't say that now. He's looking for the inside. He's going to be there with the overlap down into turn number 12, and he's going to push LaVille out wide. Logan Simmons makes the move, and he takes the spot down in the Canada corner.
Okay, yeah, I should have took that back. I thought Simmons wasn't going to be close enough, but it was like, we had an issue.
That's Rafael Rodriguez. That's gone around to the tail of the field. We'll get back to that in a moment. Right now, LaVille thinking like he might want to try to have another look down the inside of Logan Simmons up the road. Does he commit for a pass down to the turn number 1? He's going to think about it, decides against it. Not going to make the move, although there's definitely a thought for it there down in the opening corner. Now he's going to try put into turn 3, and again, he will not. I think he's trying to force him into a mistake, and he's made that mistake there out of turn number 3. Yeah,
Simmons, I think Simmons was too busy looking at his mirror, and it just distracted him. He missed his entry ever so slightly, and they ran wide, and it was like Laval was trying to make a move, but just Logan's does a good job of defending.
great job of defensive driving there. That's exactly what Laville was trying to do. He was trying to force him into a mistake, and while the mistake did happen, he was not able to capitalize it for Lucas Laville there. Let's take a quick look back at what happened to Rafael Rodriguez. This was coming down through Canada corner. Oh, just picked up the throttle too much on the exit. One of the R11 cars just barely got around that, and so did Rob Barnicow having a near miss.
That was the somehow both of them managed to avoid the Rodriguez, and I thought I was going to end up in a big incident because yeah, that was pretty much happened right in front of both drivers, and but fair play to them. That was good avoidance by them. But as we look back at the battle between Simmons, Laville, and Garrett.
Oh, and Simmons has spun it. Simmons into the wall, and he is out. Logan Simmons out of the fight early on, as he has just tanked it into the fence following a battle with Lucas Laville and more. So big problems for Simmons here. Oh, just too much curb.
Yeah, it looks like he tried to get on the power on the exit and just went on that curb, and that curb can be a bit notorious as we look at the replay, and it just comes round, and yeah, it just looks like when he's getting on the power, it just the rear wheel spun up on that curb.
A bit difficult to find a good angle of that impact as well, unfortunately, but you still got battles elsewhere in this field. You're right on board with Andrew Aitken. He's trying to close up to Robert Grosser, and he's going to look to attack down the inside into turn 5, and Andrew Aitken forces his way into the top 10.
That was a good move by Aitken. He saw an opportunity, he got alongside, and pretty much just forced his way by Grosser, and it was a good move as well. He managed to get to stop in time as well, and get the car pulled up to the apex.
So Aitken, Grosser, and now Cesare Mansato, all in a big line and in the big battle pack for the 10th place spot. Aitken doing a good job on trying to hang on for the time being. Grosser and Mansato still hanging on just a little ways behind. About to be turning lap 7 this afternoon, and already your race leader has separated 8.5 seconds just from 4th place alone, and 7.5 from 3rd. So Moosen and Dance are on a new level this afternoon. That's the difference there between 3rd and 1st.
Absolutely, and we saw last time out as well, at the previous round at Montreal, that basically Moosen was just putting in a commanding drive, and the only person that could really touch him was Cameron Dance, and by the looks of it, it looks like it's Cameron Dance that's managing to keep up with him. About 2.2 seconds behind.
Yeah, Cameron Dance struggling to keep pace with Moosen, and he is hanging within 2 seconds, but that's still down from where they were at the start of this race. So Moosen is starting to pull away, and Dance has got to be very careful. He almost made a big mistake there. Robert Grosser looking to go back to the top 10, fights his way to the inside of Andrew Aitken. Aitken hanging on. The Flying Scotsman put it in the work this afternoon. Grosser can't make the move. Right behind, there's Mansato, the driver that ran into the back of Jack Turner to put him into the wall before the start of this race. Four-way fight for that battle for 10th. Franz Josef Stum just a little ways behind at the number 34 entry for the RX car. He's looking like he might be wanting to get into the fray as well.
Into the head into Canada corner, and yeah, the battle for 10th between Aitken, Grosser, Manzato, and Joseph Stum heading up through the left-hander up to the final corner, and yeah, pretty much this battle's been pretty much nose to tail since the start of the race as they come up to the start-finish line, and Grosser not close enough to make a move. It looks like Aitken might just seems to be getting a better exit and maybe just running slightly less wing.
Down to turn number 1. He does close the gap back down to just 0.3 of a second, so the possibility is definitely there for Grosser to make a move, but he's got to get a great exit here coming out of turn number 3 if he wants to. Oh, there we go! Look out, Aitken! Aitken bobbles big time off the exit of turn 3, and that will let Grosser right through and back into 10th.
Yeah, that was a bit of a wobble by Aitken there, and that kind of it cost him on the exit there, and it compromised him getting back in the power, which gave Grosser and Manzato an opportunity to make a move. And Grosser and Manzato up into 10th and 11th place.
Manzato right now running in one of the best spots he's been since he began his Classic IndyCar Series a couple of weeks ago. Bit of puff of smoke there on that one, so a little bit of a tire lockup. Grosser, Manzato, Aitken, all in a big line as they fight their way back into the kink. Manzato close enough to have a look if he wants it down to Canada corner. He's going to size up the pass, goes down the inside, forces Grosser out to the left. And that will open up the door for the Flying Scotsman to battle his way back through to an 11th place spot. So Grosser loses 2 spots in one corner. And now Aitken's got to try to see if he can run down Manzato here before he pulls away.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Manzato's pulling away already, and Aitken back up into 11th place. Plenty of good battles going on at the moment in the midfield, and especially this one. So it looks like Manzato's pulling away as further back you've got the battle between Randy Shoemake and Rob Bernical going on for 14th place heading into turn 1. So yeah, not just racing up at the front, but in the midfield and further towards the back of the field.
Bernical and Aitken, or Shoemake, sorry. Again, both under a blanket. They've been over within about a half a second the last little while. The problem Bernical's got, he hasn't really been able to close the distance as much as he really needs in order to make a proper attack down into turn number 5 here. And down to turn 1, it's been the same problem. He is so good down the straights, but he just doesn't have an answer for him in the corners.
Absolutely, and still looking at his battle for 14th as well. And yeah, I think I'm not sure. Are both these drivers teammates known?
No, they are not. Bernical, I believe, is an independent driver.
Okay. And as they head through the kink, it looks like Bernical might have a good run heading down to Canada corner, but he's not close enough to make a move by the looks of it. So I think his best opportunity is on the home straight.
So I actually was mistaken. They are ROX teammates. So does that potentially explain then why we haven't been seeing Bernical being too aggressive, even though they're all the way down to the number 14 spot?
Yeah, quite possibly. They could be working together, maybe they might be on Discord or TeamSpeak or some platform that they might be communicating on, and or even the in-game iRacing team chat they might be using. So yeah, you never know, they could be working together, just doing a bit of fuel saving and kind of just maintaining position.
Still got this fight for 11th between Aitken, Grosser, and Stoom, but it's starting to break apart just a little bit more. So while we got this little period and the little break of the action, I want to quickly once again thank Edifice General Contractors for sponsoring this race. They also sponsor the Indianapolis Road Course race. At Edifice Incorporated, construction is as much about art as science. It's about a strong vision and the creation of a structure with enduring qualities. It's about creative problem solving and the willingness to deliver above and beyond the expected. It's about passionate teams and long-standing partnerships built on trust, performance, and lasting value. For more, visit edifaceinc.com. Once again, that is edifaceinc.com. We are now working lap number 11, about to be 40 laps to go. About a fifth of the way now through this race here, Ryan.
Yep, and they already on lap 11, as we're just about to just about to come to the end of lap 11 right enough, and still this the battle going on as well at the moment with yeah, Aitken and Grosser, and actually, if I say that, Aitken's starting to pull away ever so slightly with Grosser having Stum behind him coming across the line. So at the moment, no one else seems to have quietened down. At the moment, there's not really much action going on as we look at the leader, Musterin, and he just pulled away and at the moment, no one. I don't want to jinx it, but putting in another commanding drive.
And right now, Musterin 4.3 seconds clear of Cameron Dance, running back here in the number 2 spot, and then even further behind by about 7 seconds, there is Jamie Wilson trying to keep ahead of Ethan Aiken, who runs it 4th, and then VJO closes out the top 5. So you've still got loose battles throughout the rest of about the middle portion of the top 5. Oh, we could have an attack here. Franz Josef Stum trying to open up the door on Robert Grosser.
Absolutely, and they still looking at Grosser at the moment. Currently down in 12th now, coming round the carousel, I should say. So yeah, lost pretty much another position, or basically still in the same position, I should say. But as he comes through the kink and starting to just get edge away from Stum ever so slightly, heading down to Canada corner. So yeah, I think not really anything going on apart from this battle at the moment.
So let's talk pit stops then. They're not too far away. Again, the estimated number to hit was about 18 or so, dependent on how everything was going to pan on out, give or take on what downforce settings you're running. Obviously, higher downforce means a little bit more fuel. The engine's working harder to get you up to speed, as well as how much fuel saving you're doing over the course of a run. Some drivers could potentially stretch to 19 or 20, but I think we're going to be seeing most drivers coming in around that lap 18 mark, and that's only about 6 laps away. So we're not far off from seeing our first run of green flag pit stops.
Yep, absolutely. And I think the first set of pit stops, I would guess, is maybe round about lap 18. Maybe you might see some drivers try and go to lap 20 if they can, if they do some fuel saving. But I'll probably say pit stops will probably start from lap 18 onwards.
Franz Josef Stum continuing to close in on Robert Grosser here. Over the last several laps, you can see the gap times have been fluctuating a little bit between them. In fact, Grosser set as fast as PB of the race 2 laps ago. But overall, I think Franz Josef Stum is the quicker of these two. He's just got to find that chink in Grosser's armor to try to get around him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's one of those things you've got to try and force or try and do something to force a mistake out of someone. And I think Stum, I don't know, I think if you're Stum, it might be worth putting on lap 18 if you can, or maybe round about lap 18 and try and get an undercut in Grosser, because it looks like at the moment Robert's just holding Stum up ever so slightly.
Oh, he's making a look, kind of ducking out, weaving around, breaking a bit of the draft from behind just to make sure he doesn't run over Grosser, but also making sure he fills his mirrors, reminding Grosser that he's right there and he's ready to party. Up the road, we've also got Marshall Stanley losing a bit of time to Cesare Manzato. So Manzato here could find himself putting the Vortex Sim Racing number 25 under a little bit more pressure before too long.
Absolutely, and as I would say as well, Stanley, or pretty much say Stanley at the moment, trying to get by Garrett, and then Manzato as well. He was losing contact slightly, but I said it before, knowing it's one of those tracks that's so difficult to make a move on, and also another factor you've got to put into consideration is the is the dirty air, because if you're stuck behind another car, or even if you're close to another car in front of you, you can't get that dirty air can cause a bit of a hassle.
Problems with Rafael Rodriguez, as Rodriguez finds himself facing the wrong way. The driver to California losing out and spinning out on the approach to the carousel. Take a look at what happened to the number 80 car. Too much power on the exit. Yes, sir. Spins around, brings it to a stop, and gets it rolling. No harm, no foul. Manzado looking to make the move, and he's actually got Stanley for ninth.
Yep. Yeah, got by him as well. I missed the move to see, or missed basically what happened, and heading down the home straight, heading into turn one, and manages to get the move done.
They made the look to the inside. Stanley decided to just lift out of the throttle a little bit early and give it up to him. Didn't want to fight that side-by-side through turn one. It's a surprisingly treacherous corner and a very easy corner to get wrong. And I don't think Marshall Stanley was too confident looking to go side-by-side, especially when you're not even at the halfway point in the race yet. So 3 battles right now. The fight for 9th between Manzado and Stanley. The battle for 12th between Groscher and Stu. And then the battle for 14th between Shoemake and Barnacow. Oh, and now another one around. That's one of the iconic motorsports cars. I think that's VJO's 96. Spun out from 6th.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought I seen the VGO make a mistake there on the exit of Canada Corner, and I wonder if it's a case of getting on the outside curb, and just getting on the power and just basically looping it around.
Now struggling to find a safe spot to rejoin the racetrack. He's going to get it there. Doesn't want to flick spin that car because the other wall is so close to him, and the damage doesn't look bad, and it looked like he did a good job on slowing that down. I think he should be fine. Oh, just lost it, then overcorrected, nosed it pretty heftily into the wall, and he's actually going to take that to pit road early, so potentially more damage than I thought. Let's ride on board.
Yeah, it looks like, ooh.
Oh, that is a pretty decent hit.
Yeah, I was going to say that just the angle he hit the wall and the speed he hit the wall. It wouldn't surprise me if that was a meatball flag or required repairs.
He'll be down into pit road for service. I wonder if maybe he's taking one of his 2 stops really early in the hopes that he can try and go the distance. I'm going to do some math on this, see if that's... I don't think that's a viable strategy, but if it is, it is. So he would be right on the limit here. So this is possible that VJO can make this work once he gets out of pit road. Because if he goes 18 and 18, he would be on his last lap of fuel about right when the checkered flag fell.
Yeah, I was about to bring it up as well. If he can do 18 and 18, or basically do the strategy, I have a feeling that he's going to try and do it. If he can make that work, then fair play to him. As he leaves the pits and comes down the back straight, heading down to turn 5. So it'll be interesting to see if VGO can make this work.
Boosting in on the approach to 5. Let's look at something that happened to Andrew Aitken. As VGO just left pit road, and around goes Aitken. Taking a wild snap there. Is that... That's on the exit of turn 6, I think. Just caught... He throttled out too much and he was still on the curbing. Unsettled the car and snapped around on them. But again, a good job on not making serious contact. And that just leaves now the battle for 10th.
Indeed, and you've seen quite a lot of mistakes like that on so far. Just drivers getting on the power, and it just seems that it's either with too much power or the rear wheels just spin up so much. But yeah, thankfully, most of the drivers that have had these little incidents have managed to get away with it. Apart from VGO, who's unfortunately had to probably make a pit stop earlier than expected. But into to see if he can make it work.
Franz Josef Stum continuing to close the gap up to Robert Groscher. Running still in that number 11 spot. And again, he's able to close to the tail end and up to the gearbox, but then he gets to this section of the racetrack and he just gets caught in all that dirty air and just can't do anything about it. Through the kink. And still not able to get a good enough drive down the right of Canada corner.
Yeah, just not close enough to make a move, and that's a frustrating thing as well. If you're stuck behind another car, you can't really do anything, you can't really make any moves, so you're kind of stuck behind them. So coming up to the end of, or basically heading into lap 17, I wonder if I thought like Sturm was going to dive into the pits there, but he's going to go for another lap. So I'm interested to see if anyone dives in on lap at the end of lap 18.
Making the look to the inside. Stum thinking about it, not going to go for the move. I think what Stum should be focusing on here, try to close in the gap when you're in turn 1, and then actually attack for the position down to the turn 5. Then he can try to use all of those one-line corners that these cars have and try to pull a gap, because that's what Groscher's been doing. He's been keeping him at bay down the straights. And it looks like he's thinking about it. Will he go for the send down the inside? He will not. He pulls back in line, and that effectively will mean he's going to have to wait another lap to get this job done.
Yep, and yeah, still, just can't. Sturm can't really make any moves. That's the thing. It's just, I wonder if he's maybe. I wonder if both his drivers are maybe running the similar downforce levels, as it looks like the leader is into the pits.
Race leader Thomas Mustonen into pit road for the number 22 Iconic Motorsports car. It's the first driver to commit to pit road right at lap 18 on the mark where we expected to see cars coming down to the pits. Now the big question, when does the rest of the field follow? So far, nobody has joined him. .11 seconds in the box. He'll rejoin the racetrack right in front of Johnny Garrett and Cesare Mansato. So he'll cycle out to the 6th place spot and look to get a run going. Cameron Dance picks up the lead for the first time tonight. Oh, big trouble. Oh, the leader! Mustonen has spun it. Doesn't look like he's hit anything, but that's big trouble again for your race leader.
And I wonder if that was just a case of cold tires.
Oh, absolutely! Look at that.
That was great car control.
Here comes Rodriguez into pit road. We're going to pop up the track map and kind of show you where everybody's at. This is displaying the current track positions between some of these drivers. See the battle for 8th now going on. Mustonen, that easily could have just cost him the race lead. Cameron Dance is into pit road. It is a long pit road, but that's a huge mistake to be making. 2nd place, 3rd place coming down to pit road. We'll change it over to display the car numbers. The 80 of Rodriguez making his way out of pit road. As you're watching for that number 22. He was the race leader when he came down to pit road. He's coming through the last corner now. This is going to be real close because Dance is right next to pit exit. Off the jacks, he's away.
This is going to be close.
He's in the background. He's not going to get him, though. Cameron Dance, new race leader, after a huge mistake from Mustonen, puts him out of the fight for the lead.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for Mustonen, but gave an advantage to Cameron Dance there. And Cameron Dance, I was about to say, Roland, being at the end of the pit lane definitely gives you an advantage because it means you have less. You don't have to spend as much time in the pit get on the pit limiter. So yeah, definitely gave Cameron and Dance the edge there, and I wonder if Mustonen can claw that gap back down.
Everybody else slowly making their way back out onto the racetrack. It looks like that was the only real big change in position. Everybody else exiting pit road as they came down. The 27 will look to jump to, and that should be it for pit stops. So all stops are complete for the first time this afternoon. Let's get another look back on Mustonen and what happened to cost him the race lead. This is all the way out of pit road. He's on cold tires, remember, trying to keep in front of Johnny Garrett. This is all the way from 1 to 3 on what happened.
Yeah, so it looks like it turns into turn 3, or turn 2, rather. Yeah. Oh, it just lost it, and yeah, it just looks like getting on the power on cold tires, and it just spun him around.
It was well held, and you could probably attribute the curbing to part of that, but at the same time, I don't think that was the main cause, because he was already starting to snap sideways right before he hit the curb. So I don't think the curb is 100% to blame here. But that puts Dance into the lead, and now 1.8 seconds clear. But Mustonen had built up about 5 seconds before, and he's already starting to run him down.
Yeah, he's running Cameron Dance down already, and I think it's probably not too long before Mustonen makes a move by Dance, because just when it comes to pace, Cameron Dance just doesn't have an answer.
So we are just shy of the halfway point on Green Flag TV. We're going to take our, never mind, we got Andrew Aitken off the road, and he'll get it back sorted. No harm, no foul. Battle for the lead is closing. We'll take a quick step back and rejoin when the race lead picks up once again. 20 laps in for the Edifice Grand Prix of Road America.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Thomas Mustonen has caught Cameron Dance. Did not take him long at all, and the fight for the lead is on for the Edifice Grand Prix at Road America. Dance tried to do everything he can to stay out in front, but Mustonen, not a driver that likes to be denied.
Yeah, Mustonen. I thought Mustonen with that mistake, it would have kind of like made him lose his focus, but he's managed to get back into it straight away. And as you see right there, heading into turn one, closes right up on the braking. And I think if he gets a good run in the exit here, Nolan, I think he could make a move down into turn 5.
It's a pretty good run. Down within 0.3 of a second, now within 1/4 of a second, but he's still a long way back. Is this enough for a lunge to the inside of turn number 5? He's going to make the peak, but he can't commit to the dive, but he does force Dance to miss the apex, which could cost that number 6 car.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to make Dance lose his focus a little bit, and I think if he gets a good run through the carousel and through the kite, he could make a move into car in the corner, but again, it's just trying to get by Dance, and Dance is doing a good job of defending as well. He's not doing anything erratic or dangerous. He's just placing the car where he needs to.
We're having a big discussion under the commercial break about whether or not Dance was going to fight Mustonen difficultly here. You were mentioning he might not, because Dance might be thinking about the overall championship. But on the other hand, he's a driver that likes to win races, and he knows if Mustonen gets by him, he's not going to be able to run him back down again with the pace that he showed in that first stint.
Yeah, that's the thing. On the other hand, you want to think of the championship, but like you say, you want to win a race as well. And I think if he can beat Mustonen today, I think he'll feel good about it, and I think it'll help him with confidence as well, knowing that he can beat Mustonen in a straight fight. As it looks like Mustonen's got a good run heading down to turn 1, but again, just not close enough.
Will he have the look through turn 5? That right now is the big question. I don't think he's going to get it this time, because the last time was 0.4 of a second back under that break. He wasn't able to have a look. He is definitely the quicker car, though, because he closed this gap down from 2 seconds to less than half so quickly. He's definitely the faster car. Right now, he's just stuck, and he's trying to find a way around Dance.
Yep, and it looks like Mustonen again. We've had an issue. One of the cars towards the back of the field, is that it's the 25 car of Stanley.
Marshall Stanley with a lot of damage on that car. The nose cone is gone. The left front has been annihilated. There's been a big incident there. We've also, we actually might get a pass for the leader. We'll look at that in a moment. But here goes Mustonen for the lead on Cameron Dance to the inside, and he's got him. Made the move into Canada corner, but now Dance still close enough. He could try to battle back into turn 1 if he could get a good run off the final corner.
Yeah, I think that's what Dance was planning, is maybe try and get a run down the home straight, but Mustonen in a straight line, I've been watching him from time to time, and his car seems to be running slightly less wing, so probably helping him down the straight as Dance is still in the slipstream, but just not closing up.
To 0.2 of a second. Like you mentioned, though, not close enough to have a look for the position. We're at the halfway point in this race. Mustonen continued to hang on. Further the field, we've also got Cesare Manzato trying to attack Johnny Garrett. Oh, this is going to be real tight if he can make that look here into turn 5, and Dance thinks better of it. But we had a pass for the 11th spot, Andrew Aitken getting around Franz Josef Stum, and that's because Stum actually spun it right in front of Andrew Aitken. Try to back up and find out what happened here to Franz Josef Stum to cause him to spin around, and looking like, just lost the back end, and that's what costed him the 11th place spot. And then this is what happened to Marshall Stanley. Just got on the curb and snapped hard into the wall.
Yeah, such a easy mistake to make in that final corner, because it's basically you want to try and use as much of that curb on the outside on the exit to try and carry that momentum down the home, or up the hill, up the hill onto the home to start finish. But basically ran a little bit wide there and it caught him out.
Mustonen continuing to pull away. Let's check in on the battle between Garrett and Mansato here. It's a battle that's been showing some speed here over the last little while, and look at the lap times. Mansato's been running Garrett down these last 4 or 5 laps or so. They're going to lap one of the Vortex cars. So right now, Cesare Mansato on a great drive. And looking like Stu's actually, yeah, he's been able to get back out onto the racetrack, so the damage not as terminal as first thought. Here goes Mansato looking for the move on Garrett, and he's got him. Garrett pulled off to the inside and just let him have it.
Yeah, I think Garrett just decided not to make a big fight of it, and still Cameron Dance, even after Mustonen went by him, he's not falling back as much as I thought he would, so he's doing a good job to keep up with him.
So half a second between the leaders. We are working lap 26 of 51. Let's see a rundown top to bottom through your field here with this one. Mustonen currently leading the way ahead of Cameron Dance by about half a second. Jamie Wilson running in the number 3 spot, 6 seconds ahead of Ethan Hagen, who hangs it out in 4th. 10 seconds behind him, we got Jan Hoffman currently approaching turn number 5. That is Lucas LaVille running in the number 6 spot. Cesare Mansato in a battle with Johnny Garrett for the number 7 spot at the moment. And then rounding out the top half of the field here, Ryan, it'll be Robert Grosser, 9th place in an 18-car field.
Yep, and then Franz Josef Stum in 11th place, with 12th place currently going to Randy Shoemake, with Rob Barnacle in 13th and Rafael Rodriguez in 14th, and then Vigiola in 15th, and then Marshall Stanley 16th, and yeah, 2 retirements from the race as it stands, Logan Simmons and Jack Turner.
Surprised that Marshall Stanley was able to actually get back out onto the racetrack. I mean, that was a pretty hefty impact that he took. Let's take a ride on board here with Stanley. Well, this is him already in pit road, but look at that left front. It's completely ripped off. That is a hard lick. And frankly, the fact that he was able to get that car back at a pit road, get that suspension fixed, is nothing short of a miracle. I don't think he broke the wishbone. It may have just been a case of getting the tire off and putting the new one back on, but that is a really impressive feat that car is still running on the racetrack.
Yeah, somehow managed to get it fixed, and credit to him for getting back out there, and he's only 1 lap down, amazingly. But as the battle back up at the front is still close, and Cameron Dance actually is not losing touch. Still managing to keep up with Mustonen at the moment as they head through the carousel. So I wonder if Dance has got a plan to try and keep up with Mustonen, and they basically can't get by. Do a bit of fuel saving, and maybe try and either go longer and try and do the overcut on Mustonen, or do the undercut like you were talking about earlier on, Nolan.
It is a little bit of a mystery, and again, pit stops now only about 10 laps away. So they're not too far away from coming down for the 2nd time this afternoon as well. There is absolutely still a big, big possibility that we're going to be seeing drivers in with a shot to take some good points this afternoon. Right now, the big question is, who's going to end up where by the end of this thing? And the only real battle is, as it stands, for the lead.
Yep, and yeah, I keep thinking that Mustonen would pull away, but Cameron Dance is doing a good job to keep up, and maybe that Mustonen getting by him. That's the thing though, on as well. You're out in front, and you don't really have a car to follow, but with Mustonen right in front of him, maybe he's learning where Mustonen's stronger than him in some parts of the track, and that's actually helping him to keep up.
it's impressive that Dance has been able to hang on to Mustaden so consistently this last while. Like, I thought Mustaden would just be able to drive away ever since he took the race lead, but Dance has been holding with him very impressively. And they've actually both just set PBs the last time by. Dance won a 1:43.8, the fastest time he's gone this race. Mustaden set the race fastest lap, the only driver so far to punch his ticket into the 1:43.6s all day long.
Indeed, and yeah, I think basically as I come across the start-finish line now, and it's still Dance only about half a second off him, and just it's one of those things. I think Dance is just more than happy to sit behind him at the moment. If he can keep up with him, just sit behind him until the last round of pit stops, and this is what I think the last set of pit stops is probably where the race could be won or lost.
Let's ride on board for a lap here with Dance on this one. Kind of really showed the nuances of this racetrack. Obviously, you're going all the way up to the 6th gear, braking right at the number 3 braking board, cutting back in, hugging the curb on the outside, tuck in for the apex at turn 6. Oh, gets a little loose there. That'll cost him about a quarter of a second. And he has just lost the draft, but now running through 7, down the hill for 8. Bit of a lesser version of turn 5. And then the carousel, the tricky one, because it's a corner that starts tight, then you swing out wide, and then it tightens back up. You have to cut back in to get the best possible run for the King. Because here's the thing, if you mess with the carousel, your entire run up until Canada corner is completely compromised.
Absolutely is, and it's basically because you've got to try and get the exit of the carousel right, because you carry that speed down to the kink and then through heading up to Canada corner. And as you say, if you mess up the entry and the exit of the carousel and the run down to the kink and basically the run down to Canada corner, it can basically, you can lose probably around about half a second.
Up the hill and across the start-finish line. The longest straight of the racetrack. The longest straight of the whole season, though, I believe will be coming at the Fuji Speedway 2 weeks from now for the Classic IndyCar Series. Cuts it in, tight for turn 1, almost gets the slowdown, but just keeps it far enough out that he can get the best run possible. But now that he's outside of the draft, he is losing time quickly to Mustaden up the road. VJO started to begin his recovery drive. He is caught up to Rafael Rodriguez, down to just a half second here.
Yep, absolutely, and I think it's just a matter of time before VGO makes a move on Rodriguez, and I think it looks like VGO's got a good run heading down to turn 5. Can he get close enough in the slipstream? I think, VGO might try and make a move if he can get close enough.
I thought he might make the move down into turn 5 with how close he closed up on him in turn 1, but he decided against it. He can't really make any kind of move in this position either. He might have to wait for Canada corner now to actually get a proper move done on Rafael Rodriguez here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think if he can try and get a good run, he could make a move, but again, as I come through the carousel, he's getting close enough, but it's just a case of trying to carry that momentum on the exit and carry that momentum through the kink. And VJO is getting close enough through the kink. Can he get a good run? It looks like he might. Yeah, he's getting closer and closer.
He's going to make the move to the inside. VJO has got Rafael Rodriguez making short work of the Brazilian, the number 80. So the BDS racing car down and out, and the iconic Motorsports number 96 on his recovery drive, but I think it's safe to say he's not going to be able to claw his way back up to 5th where he started this race. What a shame. He was having such a good run until that error.
Yeah, absolutely was, but still, as the VGO starts to peel away slightly now, as we're on heading into lap 31, so pretty much got about 20 laps remaining in this race, and it's just absolutely flew by, and there's been plenty of action as well. so far, and VGO pulling away from Rodriguez slowly but surely as they head down to turn 5.
If you liked all the racing action that we've had this afternoon, but you might have missed the first 30 laps or so, never fear. As ESTV will be rebroadcasting this race on all of their distribution platforms, which will be coming up next week. You find out more about the schedule on when they'll be covering that, as well as where you can find it at estv.co. And then coming up on Green Flag TV, it's an exciting week of racing coming on up for the HTRL MFRD Premier Series. Last week, it was a wild 3-wide photo finish at Daytona for the season opener. This time, they swing to the action track at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for their second week of competition. The OMSRL Cup Series will close out the regular series season at North Wilkesboro Speedway. They'll reset the top 10 for the playoffs. And for the Beer League, we get set to crown a champion in Belgium. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps will play host to the final race of the Beer League's 8th season of competition. They'll reset for season number 9. So a lot of action coming up on Green Flag TV over the next little while. Nothing that you're going to be wanting to miss. So mark those dates. It's going to be a wild week.
Absolutely. Yeah, Cameron Dance is falling back a lot now. He's about 2.3 seconds behind Musterin now. So Musterin's just pretty much getting into that zone again and starting to pull away now. As we look at the lap times and just look at them, he's been pretty much quicker than Cameron Dance.
Dance has been losing half a second the last 2 laps. He lost 3/4 of a second 3 laps ago. So you're right, Cameron Dance has been hemorrhaging time so far into number 6. Luke LaVille and Cesare Manzano, both setting PBs of the race, a 145.2 and a 144.8 respectively. And touching back in on Cameron Dance, I frankly don't see anybody being able to attack Mustonen unless Mustonen makes a huge mistake coming back down through the second run of pit stops, which is going to be taking place in less than 5 laps. Rob Barnicow, meanwhile, closing in pretty rapidly all of a sudden on Randy Shoemake.
Yep, absolutely. As we look at the battle for 12 with Shoemake and Barnicow heading up to the final corner, and still these two have pretty much been close together for pretty much the early stage of the race and after the first pit stops. So, yeah, Barnicow still not being able to make a move and not being able to get by Shoemake.
Can't make the move that time by. VJO has just come into pit road. But if you remember, he of course had that spin out of I forget which turn it was. I think it was Canada corner though. And that has caused him to have to go a little bit off cycle by about 3 laps or so. So this is going to be his last stop. He's going to have to try to make this fuel last to the end of the race. That's going to be a big ask. And frankly, that might be why we haven't seen more out of the 96 so far, is because he's been trying to save fuel to go the distance.
Absolutely. I mean, if he can make it work, it'll be an amazing job to make it work. But I think he might have to make a splash and dash possibly towards the end, if he is trying to make it on one stop.
Oh, off the road again!
It looks like
VJO with another problem. He just came out of pit road and the recovery drive comes to a close. It will reset to the pits. Game over for the iconic motorsports driver. How the mighty have fallen. There's that wounded Marshall Stanley limping his way back to the pits. What a tough break for so many of these drivers. Let's take a look at what happened here. That was in turn 3, I think. I was in turn 1. Cold tires.
He just lost it again.
And then, oh my, just backed it into the wall. He was trying to get himself sorted and backed into the wall, and that put all that damage on the rear wing. It's right on board. Whoops. The initial damage wasn't that bad. He could have reset and kept going, but he just reversed it back into the back into the tires. And that gave him all that damage and meant he wasn't going to be able to contend for the rest of the race. I hate to say, he can only blame himself for that one.
Yeah, just got a wiggle mid-corner and just unfortunately lost it into the wall. And I think VJ will be kicking himself for that one. But as we look at the battle between the Joseph Stum and the looks like Barnacle. Sorry, yeah, Barnacle. Sorry.
We've still got as well a scrap for 13th between Shoemake and Rodriguez. Half a second, still closing. Marshall Stanley going for a scheduled service. He is good to go to the end of this race. Well, Rodriguez now closing in on the Airwax number 3.
Yep, and it's come across the start-finish line now. It looks like, yeah, Rodriguez is behind the Shoemake now. So, yeah, still coming across the line, heading down to Tier 1, and it looks like Rodriguez is trying to make a move, but decides against it.
Tried to make the move, thought better of it. Jan Hoffman locking it up as he gets it down and into pit road. Just barely got down there in time. And Rodriguez close enough, he can definitely make a look on Shoemake down the long stretch and in towards turn number 5. Rodriguez going around the long way. Shoemake gonna tuck in line. Realized couldn't fight it, didn't try to. Rodriguez now up to 13th while Hoffman is still coming down to pit road. Once again, we'll flash up the track map. Show you the current position of everybody on the racetrack. There is the race leader coming around through turn number 14. And immediately cutting into pit road. Cameron Dance staying out for another, right behind Franz Josef Stu.
Yep, and they mustering into the pits for what looks like the last pit stop. So interested to see what Cameron Dance does, if he goes for another extra lap, or maybe try to stretch out to 2 laps and try and it looks like who was that off track? Was that Stum?
It's Johnny Garrett.
Oh, Johnny Garrett, sorry.
Yeah, the 68 running 7th right now. Quite a few cars opting to stay out on this one. Now, it's not a total surprise. Remember, Moostinen did undercut the whole field on his first pit stop as well. Ethan Agan, though, from 4th, making an early call to come down to pit road.
Yep, so Ethan into the pits as well now, so it looks like this is pretty much the stage where everyone's making their last pit stop. And it looks like Robert, no, it's not Robert, is that Robert Grosser?
It's Chester Monsato in pit road.
It says Monsato, sorry. Yeah, some of the liveries I keep looking at and they look, some of the liveries look the same, so I sometimes get mixed up. So Monsato went to the pits for his pit stop from, it looks like 7th place, so a decent run by him.
Now there is Robert Grosser making his way onto the racetrack. And here comes Andrew Aitken from 10th coming down to pit road. Will Cameron Dance be in? Yes, he will. Dance takes it to the lane. Franz Josef Stum staying out next one, going for the overcut on his 10th place opponent. So pit stops in full force at Road America for the Edifice Grand Prix. see Dance into pit road. Jamie Wilson makes his trip into the lane. There's Mustonen. He will retake the race lead. Should, at least. Cameron Dance out of pit road, and how about that? Dance out in front. He's got him again.
Yeah.
Cameron Dance with the overcut makes it work.
Yeah, I was going to say Cameron Dance made that work. So, yeah, definitely took advantage of the Mustonen putting early, and they must have put on a good push lap, because he definitely managed to jump him. Now the question is, can Mustonen close that gap back down?
The big reason on why Dance was able to jump Mustonen, because he stayed out a lap longer, he didn't have to put as much fuel into the car to make that strategy work. So he was only in the box for 9.5 seconds. Mustonen, 10.3. Dance had a 2-second faster pit stop because of that. That is incredible. And so we see the problems with the undercut strategy. You got to put more fuel in the car.
Yep. And yeah, putting in too much fuel can cost you a couple of seconds. And yeah, Mustonen already has closed that gap down to Cameron Dance.
Last 3 cars that we're waiting on for their final stops are all into pit road right now. So it should be a fairly cut and dry race from here to the end. Dance has already, though, lost that 2-second gap to Mustonen, just trying to get the tires up to temp. With 15 to go, the battle's back on for the lead.
Yep, as they come across the line now and head down to turn 1, Mustonen's got a great run. Surprisingly, Cameron Dance is not going defensive, so yeah, I thought Dance would have went defensive earlier into the inside to defend that position, but they decides not to.
Well, could he be trying to set him back up to get him back into turn 5?
That's a good question. I was actually thinking about that the very same thing myself, and I wonder if Cameron Dance might try and do what he done in the previous stunt, just try and keep up with Mustonen and try and work out where he's weak and where he's stronger than Dance.
It doesn't look like he'll be able to. So now I see the other side. Cameron Dance. Okay, so here's the pitch strategy right now. Mustonen took 2 seconds, he took a second more of fuel. And in doing so, he lost the lead, but now he's able to push it as hard as he can to the end of the race because he's good on fuel. Cameron Dance, meanwhile, opted for less fuel. It allowed him to jump Mustonen for the lead, but it was short-lived because now Dance has to manage that fuel and make sure that he doesn't overdrive the cars. He actually still has enough to make it to the checkered flag. So these are the intricacies of strategy races like this. And I think right now, Mustonen's strategy, while it didn't pay off in the short term, we can already see the benefits long term.
Yep, and Mustonen coming around the final corner, and Cameron Dance is just starting to drop back slowly as well. So I think Mustonen's definitely got the upper hand when it comes to pace and just pulled away already. And I think I wonder how it feels to be Cameron Dance as well. You see someone pulled away from you, you're trying everything to keep up with them, but you don't want to overdrive because, again, you've got to think of that championship.
Jan Hoffman made a pass on Lucas LaVille for the 5th place spot. And this was coming out of pit road. Just got there by the time they got down to turn 1. And then the battle between Rob Barnicow and Rafael Rodriguez. Half a second separated these two.
And on the exit of the Canada corner, they're coming up to the final few corners as well. Up over that hill, heading up to the final corner. And again, it's a case of basically, yeah, Rodriguez trying to make a move, but he just can't get by. And Barnicow doing a good job of keeping running behind. But as I say that, it looks like Rodriguez has got the run.
Rodriguez looking to the inside of turn 1, and Barnicow, will he fight? He sure will. Try to go the long way around, side by side through 1.
Whoa.
Not going to happen, though. Barnicow backs out. Rodriguez steals away the 13th place spot.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good move by good move by Rodriguez, and to manage to pull that off somehow. I thought that was going to end up being a big incident between them, but thankfully both of them managed to keep it on the track. Oh, so it looks like Barnical's ran wide.
Barnicow a little bit wide, and that will cost him. And that is that. Rodriguez has got the 13th place spot wrapped up. 12 laps to go. Ryan, do you see any big changes going on in the running order here before this race is out? I'll take that might be as a no, but we've got things sorted for the time being. We're going to be looking to run this race out to the end. Let's ride on board with your race leader as he takes it for some trips around Road America. 12 laps to go in the Edifice Grand Prix of Road America. Battle is on for the number 8 spot. Randy Shoemake and Rafael Rodriguez both going at it, with Rodriguez trying to see if he can't get a run going on Randy Shoemake. Coming to the carousel on the run to the kink.
Yep, head down to the kink as well, and if he can get a good run through the kink, he could carry that speed down to the Canada corner. He's getting kind of close enough, heading down to Canada corner, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move up the inside.
Yeah, not quite close enough for that look for position, but still seeing if he can't make a lunge forward. Marshall Stanley could not go the distance. He comes back down to pit road for a splash and go. Now, does Rodriguez have enough to try to get Shoemake down the front stretch to turn number 1? Shoemake going defensive, hugging the inside line. Rafael Rodriguez is closing. Shoemake is going to force him to go the long way around. Paddling to turn number 1. Rodriguez trying to throw it in round the long way, but Shoemake holds on. Rodriguez cuts him back down to the inside now, and he'll take it away at turn number 3.
Yep, and Shoemake might get a run though. He might get a run down, heading down to turn 5. Will Rodriguez go defensive? No, I don't think so.
Doesn't go defensive yet. Shoemake back to the bottom side. Rodriguez, though, carrying the speed from the long way around, and he might just be able to hang on. And Shoemake can't do anything about it. Rodriguez is officially into 12.
Absolutely, yep. It was a good respectful racing between both the drivers, and as I look at the replay, it looks like Shoemake got a bit of a wobble on the exit of turn 1.
And checking back in on this again. Shoemake did cut back, and he just went in too deep. Got a little bobble in the exit, and Rodriguez said, "Thank you very much." And was able to take it away, but then Shoemake tried to get the crossover on him again down the long backstretch. Boy, that was a good fight that these guys had here coming down towards turn number 12. And that was actually the first battle that they had. So there was actually another battle that happened a lot before this already. This was what we just saw coming down to turn number 1.
Yeah, so they both made. Go ahead.
You know, like I said, Rodriguez went outside, then back to the inside for the next corner.
Yeah, so Rodriguez gets the move done up the inside. And then basically this is the case where, or basically this is the point where the Shoemake gets a run and basically just doesn't manage to get by. But yeah, but it looks like I bet that battle's settled down.
6.5 tenths of a second, so it's got the possibility to reignite if anything happens in this group. They've been having a good fight though all day long, and I don't think either driver's got much to complain about. Rodriguez, by the way, up 6 positions. He started this race stone dead last. It's been a pretty good day, all things considered, for Rodriguez. Second most spots gained on the day. The most spots gained actually goes to Cesare Manzado. But there might be some penalties going his way from that incident that happened coming down to the green flag. I'm still not sure how to properly rule on that situation, but hey, it's not my job. That's the job of the CIS administrators, and they've been fair for all the incidents so far this season, so I'm sure whatever they decide, it'll be ruled justly for what happened between Jack Turner and Manzado on that approach to the green flag. Shoemake trying to close again.
Yeah, it was good. See, I thought Shoemake would have dropped back, but credit to him is keeping up with Rodriguez as they come up to the start-finish line, as we've got about 7 laps left in this race, and I think, yeah, the battle for the win as well is pretty much, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like that battle for the win's pretty much done.
The only thing that would stop Mustonen right now is a huge mistake from the number 22 entry. Which, like he's mentioned, it's not looking like that's going to be happening anytime soon. Rodriguez and Shoemake continuing to have themselves with a great fight down the main straightaway towards turn number 1. Turn number 1? Turn number 5.
Yeah, Shoemake closes up on the braking, and yeah, I think he just can't get close enough to make a move on Rodriguez. But yeah, I think he, apart from this battle, I don't think there's been much going on.
6 laps to go on the racetrack. Shoemake the last time by put down his fastest lap of the race, a 146.4. Mustinen still with no fear and ultimate on the racetrack, while Bardacow taking a momentary off-track excursion. So a bit of a problem there for Bardacow, and don't think we'll be able to get a look at what happened there, but it looked like he just got a little bit too throttle happy off the corner and kind of just looped it around. Like you, I'm kind of surprised that Shoemake's been able to keep this close to Rodriguez. And now we can see Rodriguez doing what Shoemake was doing earlier, trying to break the draft by hugging that pit wall. The gap does close to half a second, but that's still a pretty safe gap, as we've seen throughout this race.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a safe gap for sure, and I think pretty much just a case of getting it to the finish with that gap. But again, this battle between Rodriguez and Shoemake heading down to turn 5, but Shoemake not close enough to make a move, and I think Shoemake might be just trying to figure out where. As I say that, Rodriguez misses his apex slightly and just compromises his entry. But I think Shoemake might just be figuring out what parts of the track Rodriguez is strong at and his weak points as well. So I think Shoemake being stuck behind is not always a bad thing. But as I say that, Shoemake closing back up to the rear of Rodriguez on the braking.
One weak point that Rodriguez has is turns 6 and 7. The last time by, just this past time by, Shoemake closed 0.2 of a second in those 2 corners alone. And he closed again in the carousel. So it looks like Shoemake's good in the higher downforce sections of the racetrack. He's just got to get close enough with the draft. And now he's going to try to make that look. Rodriguez tried to block. Shoemake gets the nose in there, though. And Shoemake to the inside, picks off Rodriguez.
Yep, so a good move by Shoemake. He got the run through the kink and managed to get the car stopped alongside. When it was alongside Rodriguez, he managed to get the move done. But I wonder if Rodriguez, with the slipstream, will be making a move back by him, heading down to turn 1. It looks like he is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's going to get that spot done before they even get to the start-finish line. Down the racetrack towards turn number 1. Randy Shoemake thought about trying to hang it around the outside, and he's actually going to go a little bit too deep as well, so that's going to cost him pretty big. Now, seeing if he can't set himself up, but again, he misses the apex, and the gap extends to 0.7. Mustinen, meanwhile, on his last lap, just set the fastest lap of the race again, a 1:43.66. This car is unbeatable today.
Yeah, Mustinen's pretty much just been in a class of his own. Not a dominant one like he had at the previous race at Montreal, but yeah, he kept his composure, kept his cool. Apart from that little mistake before the first set of pit stops, which cost him the lead and handed it to Cameron Dance, but he got by Dance, he's pulled away and pretty much just been kind of in that zone, and no one's really had anything to answer for him.
It's a shame he hasn't been a full-time runner. He very easily could have been a big-time player for the championship. He's only got 4 starts under his belt this season. He's got a 17th place finish where he DNF'd out of the race at Pocono. But then he's got a 4th place finish at the Michigan race and 2 wins. 1 at Indianapolis for the road course and 1 at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve last week. Led 100% of the laps at Montreal. It was complete and utter domination that time by. So he very, very easily could have, probably should have been a championship contender. Hey, there's always 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mustering, he's not been a full-time runner, but the races he has made, he's been on it from the start, and or basically on it in the races that he's attended. And I think if he did come back and run full-time for the new season, I think he could be. I agree, he could be a championship contender.
Just 2 and some laps left to go this afternoon. So not a lot of time left for these drivers to get some good runs in, and that goes for the whole season as well. You've only got 3 races and 5 total dates left. 2 weeks from now, you'll have the Fuji Speedway for the final road course race, representing the USAC race from 1966 at the Palace of Speed. That'll be a 76 lap run there. 2 weeks after that, the second to last race of the season will be representing the Circle K / Fiesta Bowl 200 from 1986 in the kart season. That'll be at the Phoenix Raceway for 200 laps, and the legacy layout of Phoenix to boot. Going to be a fun one for that. And then it's the month of November on Green Flag TV. Pull day is on the 3rd, bump day is on the 10th, and then the ever-coveted Indy 500 closes out the season on November 17th. So it's a lot of racing action still left to go, and at the same time, not too much at all. Who knows what the season's going to have in store for us at the end. One thing's for certain, this championship is going down to the wire.
Yep, absolutely. And I think, the championship, it's, even if Cameron Dance, where he is at the moment, he'll get a good haul of points. He's not completely uncatchable in the championship. It just takes him to have one bad race, and pretty much the people behind him challenging, it brings him back into contention.
2 laps to go. When you look at the big championship order, Cameron Dance and Ethan Agan, along with Jan Hoffman, the top 3 running 1, 2, 3 right now for the race standings. Dance in 2nd, Agan 4th, Hoffman 5th. So Dance will look to extend his points lead. Don't forget as well, you've also got drop weeks throughout the season. And that could play a big factor, because when drivers like Agan and Dance have so many good results, you're not ever going to really want to drop a race. But it's mandatory. I think it's 2 drop weeks that take place by season's end. And that'll no doubt come into play big time on what would happen at the Indy 500 in November.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing as well with the Indy 500 being the last round of the season. I think, basically people that are in contention for the championship, they'll probably want to try and do as well in that race as possible and try and get the best result possible to round out the season. And then basically, when it comes to the drop rounds, if you get a good result at Indianapolis, you've got pretty much a good chance of taking that championship. Who'll take that championship, I'm not sure, as we start the final lap.
The Indy 500 being the last race of the season just feels right. There's something about it that feels so final for a season, and I could not have asked for a better way to close out a championship. But working the final lap of this race, Mustonen has built his gap up to 16 seconds, 17 seconds almost. Nothing can stop this 22 car short of an accident on the final lap.
Yep, and as Mustonen makes his way round to the carousel, he's got traffic in front of him, but it shouldn't cause too much problem as the traffic gets out of the way. Actually, what's his good heads-up driving, and Mustonen coming round the carousel, and what can you say, Nolan? This man right here has put on a great drive, even after that mistake he made earlier on. He's managed to keep his head together, keep his focus, and handle the pressure from Cameron Dance, and he's answered that pressure from Cameron Dance by just pulling away and he's gone on to take the win in this race as he comes into Canada corner.
He was looking to be in a little bit of trouble after the first one of pit stops when he spun it out of turn number 3. He was able to bounce back, though, claw his way to a safe gap. He'll come out of turn number 15. To the front straightaway, Thomas Mustinen with his 3rd race win of the season. He wins the Edifice Grand Prix of Road America. Great drive for him. Could not have asked for a better show this afternoon. Only one battle remains just between the Vortex Sim Racing teammates for the number 5 spot. Hoffman right now 1.2 seconds clear of LaVille. This pair working into the kink for the final time this afternoon. As Jan Hoffman down to just 1 second. He is closing the gap, but I don't think he's going to be closing it enough. LaVille giving it everything he's got in these last couple of corners to catch up to his Vortex Sim Racing teammate. But as they come to the final corner, he will not be able to get the job done. And it'll be Hoffman to take the 5th place spot this afternoon. Johnny Garrett looking to be the last man on track. As they'll come out of the final couple of corners. Well, it might be 1 or 2 more that are still out there as well, but what a good race that we had this afternoon. Can't really complain. So much good racing action this afternoon. It was truly a race to remember for the Classic Indycar Series for the Edifice Grand Prix at Road America, and we'll give ourselves the chance to run down through your entire post-race results this afternoon. It was a wild one this afternoon from the track in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, taking home the win at the end of the day. It is Mustinen ahead of Cameron Dance. Jamie Wilson finishes this race in 3rd with Ethan Hagen in 4th. Jan Hoffman is in 5th, LaVille 6th, Garrett 7th. Cesare Monsato is 8th, Grosser 9th, and Andrew Aitken rounds out the top 10, 1 lap down.
Yep, and Francisco Storm finishes in 11th with Rafael Rodriguez in 12th, and then 13th is Randy Shoemake with Rob Barnical in 14th, and then 15th was Marshall Stanley, and retirements from the race was VGO, Logan Simmons, and Jack Turner.
So the field is done this afternoon. We're going to take ourselves a quick step back. When we return, it's going to be the post-race show on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Road America on Green Flag TV. We are still waiting to see if we're going to be getting anybody to come on over and give us a chit-chat here after the race here this afternoon. Well, Ryan, as so many road course races go, it kind of dropped off towards the end, but the first half of that race was filled with action. Lots of side-by-side battles in the first 10 laps. You have Mustonen going for his spin after his first pit stop. You had a good strategy battle looking to play out right around the second pit stop window. It didn't last long, but it was an interesting battle to kind of go over the nuances of pit strategies with these Indy cars. Overall, it had just about everything this afternoon. Crucially, though, no car-to-car incidents, save for that one before the green flag. So, at least all the drivers that did end up out of this race, not too much controversy behind it.
Yeah, there's plenty of action going on in the early stage of the race, and yeah, plenty of battles going on as well. And then basically, it kind of quieted down a little bit, and then basically we had some battles towards the end of the race, and then pretty much up at the front once Thomas Mustonen got away, he was pretty much in command in the run up to the flag, and took a well-deserved win over Cameron Dance.
Again, we look at the next race, and it's going to be out at the Fuji Speedway. Now, the Fuji Speedway, when they last went there, was in 1966. And as we all know, the cars that ran back then are nothing even close to what we run today. And it's going to be a wild run as well, because you could say the same for the Fuji Speedway. I mean, you take a look at the layout that they had before. They had that really long front straightaway, a really long last corner. It was called the Speed Palace for a reason. And, of course, they had to make a lot of big changes to it, understandably so, for safety reasons. And a lot of those big changes actually came in 2005. The track closed in 2002 due to safety concerns, and it was brought back in 2005, completely revamped, and it's the layout that we've been running to this very day. But it's so different compared to what we've got now. But all the speed from Fuji still remains, especially in Indy cars.
Yeah, pretty much, and I do like Fuji. It's a great track as well. And yeah, I think when it comes to IndyCar and the series, I think it's going to produce a fantastic race, and it's one that I can't wait to watch. If it's calling it again or just watching as a viewer.
Well, we got the chance to talk to some of the drivers that finished this race at the tail end of this one, and we'll look in particular over to Cameron Dance, the driver that comes home, finishes his race off in a solid second place this afternoon. Cameron, wasn't quite the race win you're hoping for, but you had a pretty good scrap there with Mustonen going for that spin after the first pit stop cycle. And, hey, still good points on the board. You're going to extend that lead.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a little bit annoyed with myself that I underfueled the car in the final stop like an idiot, but made it home anyway. So, and look, hey, we got second as well, so more good points. Finished 2 positions ahead of Ethan as well, so that's an extension of the championship by a nice little margin as well. So, yeah, can't complain at the end of the day. Doing what we need to do at the end.
It was a solid drive for you all throughout this afternoon. Some new colors on the car, it looks like. You've been kind of breaking away from the purple and yellow scheme that we've been used to throughout the first half of this season. Talk us through the new car. Just change of pace?
Just with it being September, obviously, just supporting prostate cancer awareness. Obviously, I've had that in my family being an impact. So, yeah, nice to support them and obviously get some sort of support out there. But yeah, it's a nice little different color actually. It really does stand out compared to the typical yellow and purple. So yeah, probably run it next year. I'll see what might come up with Indy. Might run possibly a tempting throwback of the old 90s Chip Ganassi racing, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, looking forward to the rest of the season, that's for sure.
Fuji Speedway is up not next week, 2 weeks from now. It's the final road course race of the season. What's your thoughts on that Japanese circuit?
It's going to be interesting. Obviously, no one's really done any races around there. I know we did a winter series or pre-season testing race there one time. I want to say last year, I think it was, and I missed that. So Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it's actually like in a proper competitive environment. I have a funny feeling it's going to be somewhat similar to Road America with all the flowing corners and the lack of aero really needed to get through all those high speed areas. But yeah, be fascinating to see what happens and looking forward to it. It's a track I don't mind, but I know potentially there's going to be some corners where people are possibly going to get caught by hiccups maybe.
Well, wish you the best of luck when we go racing 2 weeks from now. You've still got the points lead, and that's not looking to be changing anytime soon.
Yeah, not wrong. So we'll keep pushing on, and hopefully we come away with P1 at the end.
Cameron Dance comes away with the number 2 spot this afternoon, still gunning for a championship at season's end for the drive out of Auckland, New Zealand. What a race we've had this afternoon, and well, that looks like it might be all we've got time for this afternoon. Don't see anybody that's been around to give us a chit chat here this afternoon, so we're gonna have to call things a day from there. But my goodness, what a wild race we had here all throughout the season. And there's still a lot more coming up as well. The High Tide Racing League MFRD Premier Series comes back to the action track on Monday night. On Tuesday, the Ole Miss World Cup Series will enter their playoff season as they'll lock away the top 10 of the points after North Wilkesboro Speedway. And then on Wednesday night, the Beer League closes out its 8th season of competition from Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in the Ardennes. Don't forget as well, that ESTV will be rebroadcasting this race on all of their distribution platforms. That'll be taking place 1 week from today, and 2 weeks we'll be down at Fuji over in Japan for the last international race of the season. Want to find more about who we are, what we can offer you? Check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. Thank you once again, everybody, for joining us on a beautiful night of racing action from Road America. My name is Will Ramble, alongside Ryan Walker. We'll see you 2 weeks from now on the shores of Japan.